Today, or it was actually yesterday, is a national holiday. It's Gary Platchkey Day. I know I probably butcher the proper saying of his name. If you're watching online now, you see the image. It's one of the most famous images ever. You can Google or YouTube up the video somehow or another that YouTube will allow certain homicides to be viewed on their platforms and not others. But hey, thankfully, this is in fact one of them. It was a mercy killing of sorts. He killed a pedo before the pedo had to go to prison and deal with a life of agony for what he did to that man's young child. Let's see here. I think I've got another. I've got a better picture of we'll call him Scary Gary. I'll just pull it up here real quick. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun. Let's see here. Here's a close up picture. If you're watching on the online, if you're not, just boom shakalaka. The man, the myth, the legend. I may be this dude for Halloween this year. I don't know. I may just be him, period. But he is the godfather of the FAFO movement. Happened 39 years ago yesterday at the Baton Rouge airport. Gary Platchkey uh, caught the man. He was being extradited back to Louisiana for kidnapping his son. He was the son's karate instructor down there in Baton Rouge, or in the Baton Rouge area. Anyway, his young child, he had the story's a little deeper than what I'm getting into, but long story short, he kidnapped his son. He sexually abused him. He was on the run, so to say. And Gary happened to be sitting at the airport talking to a reporter about it, and the reporter found out that they had got him. This is in the pre-internet days here, and found out they were going to be flying him back in to the Baton Rouge airport there to extradite him back to Louisiana to face the charges. Well, Gary decides to go post up at a payphone, and I think the story goes he's on the phone with his wife or something like that, and says, "I'm sorry for what I'm about to do." And the news crew are filming the incident. Not well, they end up filming the incident. It's live on the news. They're filming, or they're live showing the guy being walked in. Gary turns around as they're walking by the payphone, puts the gun up to the guy's head, and pow! F around, found out, grand champion, the first one crowned in the modern era, anyway. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. There was a book written about it called Why Gary Why? The Jody Platchkey story. I believe Jody was the son. Now, in typical pedophile groomer fashion, the son at the time was upset with his father for killing the bad guy, the pedo, because he had been groomed by this pedo uh, to love him. I mean, it's just sick and disgusting, is what it is. And it was on this day, well, yesterday in history, that our first modern era FAFO champ was crowned. You know, Gary had to go. Fortunately, the courts saw it our way. I think Gary had to go to a halfway house for a few months. And then he lived out the rest of his life. He died of old age, I think, a couple years back. I tried to interview the son last year, talked to his sister and everything, and just couldn't quite get it all together. You know, I don't know how comfortable he is doing media nowadays and kind of rehashing and telling the story. I think they're perfectly content with his father's legacy being what it is as the godfather of the FAFO movement.